Good morning. How we doing? I'm Carlene. I'm your Secretary of State or Secretary of State Stelling for the year. What I'm going to do today is just run you guys through registration, legislation submission, alcohol and behavior policy submission, all the fun stuff that you guys need to know with registration being released here in a few weeks. To start, this is what your registration sheet will look like. Every single DC and VC pairing will get an email with this included, one per delegation. And what it is, this first page kind of serves as like your overall guide. So it serves as your checklist. So it's composed of every important deadline, your contact information, the legislation template, the whole 9 yards, as well as how to submit payment and your registration information, how the following sheets work, enrollment verification, dietary restriction forms, what the verification drop week is, how check-in will work, etc. To start, your first couple of sections here is your registration, followed by your legislation template. You have your dietary restriction form that needs to be completed. You can also find this on every other page of the registration form. You're going to print out the alcohol and behavior policy form, have every single one of your delegates sign it, and there's a slight change, and we'll get there in a minute. Your deadline. So this has to be emailed back to me by 5 p.m. Wednesday, November 1st. That is the day that it's due. If you submit it past 5 p.m., we gonna have a problem. I'll work with you, but 5 p.m. is your hard cutoff. Following that, from the 1st through the 8th, we have the drop verification week. So if you have a delegate that isn't able to make it session, you can drop them, etc. You'll also have to email enrollment verification and make any final changes to your registration within this week. Anybody that drops past the 8th will result in a penalty for your delegation. Sweet. Going on to registration, the invoice template is the next page. So we'll go through all of those as well. It's just a little bit more here on verification form. So what your verification is to ensure that your student's actually a delegate from your university. You either have to include a university statement declaring each member attending or a copy of each delegate's class schedule with the university name. And those have to be emailed to me. My email is secretaryofstate@okoil.org. And this has to be done before the end of the verification period. So that cutoff is also 5 p.m. November 8th. All cutoffs are at 5 p.m. like it says here. Your invoice will be sent off on November 6th. So legislation, here's your template. You can also find a template on the Delegation Resource Packet. You have a House or a Senate bill, obviously. You'll know a bit more about that. Submission, how that works. So you want to consolidate all legislation from your delegation to a single document, preferably not a point docs, but in PDF form. You want to organize in alphabetical order by last name and separate internal legislation, then Senate, then House, and make sure they're all on a separate page using a page break. So you don't want 2 bills to be on the same page. This is also due on November 1st. And you also just want to email that finalized document to my email. There are 2 ways that you can pay. It can be made via credit card on the OIL website, which can be found right here. Just go to the website, go to resources, go to submission and registration, and then go to session payment. You can also send a check made out to the Oklahoma Intercollegiate Legislature Foundation. And you can put your school's name in the memo field, and then there is the address you want to send it to. Awesome. Next is your alcohol and behavior policy. In the past, those are exchanged for badges at check-in. This is different this year. Your alcohol and behavior policies must be printed out, signed by your delegate, signed by the DC, and then similar to the legislation, submit in one document as a PDF prior to check-in date. So what this means is you have to submit them, compile them, and then this basically needs to be broken down into, like with a page break, making sure that each person has signed it. Your delegation's registration is not complete until I have these. Your delegation's registration is also not complete until your school's governing documents have been emailed to myself and the governor. So per one of our statutes, you have to submit your governing documents to us to make sure that we have those on file. This could be your school's syllabus for the class if you have university credit. It could be your constitution, your bylaws, your statutes, etc. Any questions, please reach out to myself or Governor Shaw. We can answer those. I'm going to start running through what each of these little tabs looks like. They're all pretty similar, but we're just going to run through them. Starting with your invoice overview. This page basically breaks down members in the school competition for the given school. It calculates the total invoice for the school, reiterates the deadlines, provides contact information, as well as your payment options. It has all of, your dates reiterated. So if you lose them on the first page, they're right here. And also my contact information, where to make that check out to. Again, this will be finalized by your school and you just fill in these parts right here. Cool. Moving on to the next page are your executive branch and justices. So if members from your school are in the executive branch, for example, my school that I represent is Oklahoma State, but now I'm ALU. So I would be put on this page. That's if you have members who are members of the Supreme Court, House, Senate leadership in the executive branch, and you need to name those specific positions just so we can verify it's the correct person. So you're going to put their position, their first name, their last name, sessions attended, or their star count, their phone number, email address, and then if they're getting an activity pass or not. The dietary restriction form can be found at the top of every single one of these pages. For example, it's right back here. Moving on to the Senate. Again, dietary restriction form is located at the top of the page. Since numbers are based on school size, as noted on the invoice overview page, we now deal with delegates and alternates. So delegates are active competitors with voting privileges, so these spots must be filled out first. So you're going to have your delegates first, followed by your alternates. Alternates are active competitors without voting privileges. You need to fill out their first name, their last name, sessions attended, or star count, phone number, email address, activity pass. Same thing for the House. We're going to do the exact same thing we just did for the Senate. Again, your dietary restriction form is located at the top. Moving on to moot court and journalists. So now we deal with full-time and part-time. Part-time are those participating in the House and Senate when not in moot, and full-time is only moot, no participation in House and Senate. So say I was a mooter, and I still wanted to write House legislation. I need to be part-time. That way, if I lose in a moot court round, I still get to go to the House and participate, or still get to go to the Senate and participate. So that's the distinction between full-time and part-time. You also need to specialize if they're undergrad or graduate here. And again, your dietary restriction form located at the top. Same thing with the journalists. You want to specialize if they're full-time or part-time, first name, last name, sessions attended, phone number, email address, activity pass. Super simple. So I just want to go over a few more things before I end this video. So we've got alcohol and behavior policies, what it is and why do we do it. The purpose of this form is to hold every individual accountable for their actions while at session. So the form's at the bottom of the first page. Each delegate must fill it out. Then, similar to the legislation submission, the forms need to be returned in a single submission from each school, Google Doc format, using page breaks in an alphabetical order. Since every delegate's form will be signed, submitted, and received ahead of check-in, delegates will now be able to receive their badges upon arrival instead of having to wait. Delegates will not be able to fill out a form once they've arrived at session. This must be done ahead of time and submitted to us, or submitted to me ahead of that deadline. Just a few more points on this little thing down here in your governing documents. Each delegation shall ensure a current version is on file, so this must be submitted prior to your registration as well. Your registration is not complete without it. Just a few final notes. The phone numbers. I know in the past they've been suggested. They are also required. Phone numbers are important because it allows us form of communication. We're also able to place you in group meets a lot easier that way. So please, please, please upload your phone number. And all registration forms, compiled legislation, alcohol and behavior policies, and your governing documents must be emailed. The governing documents can be emailed to myself and the governor. Everything else can just go to me. If you have any questions, again, please don't hesitate to reach out. My email is secretaryofstate@okoil.org. See you guys in a few weeks.